Hi guys, in this video I'll show you how to run C programs in Visual Studio. In order to do that, we'll need to create a C++ project. To get started, open Visual Studio, then go to File, New, Project. On the next screen, click on All Languages at the top. From the list, select C++. Make sure you don't select C#, which is a different language. So click on C++, then click on Empty Project, and with Empty Project selected, click the Next button. On this screen you can give your project a name. I just name mine Hello World and click Create. This may take a moment as it generates a project structure with all the base folders. Once this is complete, you should see the Solution Explorer. And in the Solution Explorer, there's a single solution. This has the same name as the project. And inside the solution, there's the project that you just defined with Hello World and the base folders. The important folder here is the source files folder, to which you'll be adding all the C files with the programs that you can run. Now, you can have multiple projects in the same solution. So if you work on multiple assignments or multiple personal projects, you can always right-click on the solution and then go to Add New Project. When you have multiple projects, there's always one project that's a starter project. That's a project that will run your program. Now, if you want a different project to be the starter project, you right-click on the project and select Set as Starter Project. That's the one you're currently working with, and when you run the program, that's the one that will be executed. Now the Solution Explorer, you can drag and drop anywhere you want. If you want to have it on the right side, for example, you can move it here. I prefer to keep it on the left side, so I'll move it back here. If you cannot find the Solution Explorer, you can always go to View and then click on Solution Explorer there. So let's add our first C file. Right-click on Source Files, then add New Item. This will have a file name pre-populated with a .cpp extension, so make sure you highlight everything. And I name this program welcome.c. So the extension should be .c. Then click Add. This simply adds an empty file underneath the source files directory. Here add sharp include standard io.h, then int main, and printf hello, and return 0. Now in order to run this program, click on the play button at the top where it says local Windows debugger. This will compile the program, and if there are any errors, they will be shown up on the output at the bottom. In this case, there's no errors. So the console will pop up and we can see the output here, that it ran successfully. It outputted what we told it to. So hello. Sometimes you want to have multiple files in the same project. So let's add another source file to the source files folder. Right click on that folder, select Add New Item, and highlight everything, including the extension. I name this goodbye.c. Click Add. Here again I add similar code, include standard io.h, int main, printf goodbye, and return 0. Now when I run this program, it will output an error. You can see at the bottom there's a linker error, main already defined in goodbye obj, one or more multiple defined symbols found. The reason for this is that I have two main functions, and the main is the entry point to the program. So the linker doesn't know where your program should start. Should it start at this main, or should it start at this main? So ideally there should be just a single main in a project. Now what you can do is you can go to the one that you don't want to run. Let's say I currently want to work on goodbye.c, so I go to welcome, Control A to highlight everything, and then you can comment this. That way this main is completely ignored, the compiler doesn't consider it, and there's just a single main in the goodbye file, which you can see here. Now alternatively, you can also do Control F and I uncomment this with the uncomment button at the top. You can also just rename this, for example, main2 or just anything else but main. In this case, there's just a single main in the project. The compiler will not complain when I run this again. This will work, and now it will output goodbye. So the point is that you just rename all the mains that you do not want to work with, and that the one you do want to work with is named main. Now you may also want to see where these files are located on your computer. So right click on the solution and go to Open Folder in File Explorer. Here you can see the location on your computer where this is located. So the path is at the top. There's a solution file. The solution file does not have any of your code. It's really just a configuration file for your solution. But there's also a folder for your project. So if you open this folder, it has two of the C files, welcome.c and goodbye.c. So those are the two files that have your code and that you currently have written. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching.